Cause like, yeah, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Not even Google Maps can help me get through this journey right now. Hello friends and enemies, welcome to day 16 of Writemas, aka Vlogmas Writing Edition. So yesterday we played a lot of catch up with our word count and wrote 2,300 or so words, with just meeting our daily word count goal after switching our overall word count goal from 50,000 to 75,000. And that's mostly because when I started this challenge on December 1st, I already written about like 20,000 words or so. So we just needed to add on to it. So we're heading into the second half of Writemas now, and so far I have written 24,669 words. And out of the total draft, I have written 34,395 words out of 75,000 words. So we're doing pretty good. We're off to a good start. We're doing well. Today's session target, I need to write 2,388 words in order for me to write 75,000 words by January 1st. I think that'll be pretty doable, especially because this chapter, I'm pretty sure we're going to get to our first steamy scene. I'd been kind of hinting at it before in the last vlog. I was basically just being like, will they or won't they? Except it was more like me talking to me about whether I was going to decide if the main couple was going to will they or won't they. Anyways, enough yapping. Let's get into this first writing session. Hello, it is currently 9:24. I just finished my first writing sprint where I wrote 295 words. I realized I never really write that much in my first sprint. It's kind of just like a warm up before I get to like actual sprinting, but not bad. We're getting to like a good start. We're getting some like action going and kind of just like reorienting ourselves back into the writing mode. It's gonna be interesting because I'm gonna be like half writing this from scratch, half like looking around and poking around my old drafts to see what would fit here, because I have a general idea of what this scene is supposed to look like. I'm just not like super sure of what the exact dialogue and actions and all that stuff is gonna be. Like, I'm very loosely a plotter, not really a pantser, somewhere in between. Writing is just one big improv game where you have the scenario, you have the stakes and everything, and you kind of just go wild with it. And that's basically what I'm doing right now. But I am going to give myself a little bit of a break, and then I'm gonna come back after the next writing sprint. It is currently 9:57 p.m. and I just finished my second writing sprint. In total so far, I have written 564 words tonight. I feel like it's going a little bit slow tonight just because I know what I want to happen in the scene, but it's like the journey to get there is what's troubling me. Like, I'm currently at point A, I want to get to point B. I just don't know what this stuff in between A and B looks like. But you know, we're just like playing around, we're seeing it how it goes. Also, I'm kind of just like tripped up with the details of like the setting now. Ever since I changed it, I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be a huge chunk where I'm going to have to be putting placeholders for like describing the setting. But I'm like, you know what? That is a later Joelle problem. That's like an editing problem. Like, we don't have to figure that out right now. But now that like the main characters are finally alone together, it's really interesting to see how they're acting around each other after like all these years. And they still kind of like have this tension between them. Like, they haven't really addressed anything about why they had a huge fallout. Like, they were so focused on like preparing for the mission, preparing for this elopement ceremony and all that stuff, that like they haven't really gotten to sit down and address their issues. And I'm like trying to figure out a time where they can do that, but it's a little tricky. That's kind of just like why I'm playing around so much in this middle part of the book, because it's all about the timing. It's all about the timing and like what I want to achieve once they have that conversation, because when that happens, I know it's gonna be a real good time. So I'm gonna go on my break and then I'll catch y'all after the next writing sprint. Hello, it is currently 10:32. I just finished up my writing sprint, and overall for tonight, I have written 737 words. I am very much struggling with this scene, and I don't know if I can just skip to the next chapter or anything. Like, I might have to spend some time to actually plot things. Ooh, plotting. I think this is like where I usually got stuck every time that I was rewriting, and for a good reason. Like, I need to plot this out a little bit more carefully and try to figure out how we're gonna get there. Cause like, yeah, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Not even Google Maps can help me get through this journey right now. Because I'm just like, I know I want to have some steamy bits. I know that they have to talk to these characters. I know they have to talk to this other character. I just don't know how that's going to happen. So if you just see me staring at my laptop in the next writing sprint, it's not a writing sprint anymore. It's just a brainstorming sprint. Like, I think I'll hit 1,000 words at least tonight, maybe even like 1,500 words, but I'm not too confident that I'll reach 2,000, let alone 2,388 words. But who knows? Maybe I'll surprise myself. Maybe I'll just skip to the steamy scene and just keep typing away. So I'll give myself a little bit of break, figure out what I'm gonna do for the next sprint, and then catch y'all after it. Hello, it is currently 11:08 p.m. I just finished up my writing sprint, and so far for the entire night, I have written 978 words. Again, I have just been like struggling because I have no idea what to write for this section. After doing a little brainstorming and just like staring at the screen, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna rewrite and start editing this flashback scene that I had. Because while it's not related to the present day scene that I'm currently writing, or at least tried to write, this flashback scene is something that I want to insert somewhere. So I'm like, let me just like start writing it and like put it in my current draft. I'm like just under 1,000 words, and I would really like to hit at least like 1,500 words before midnight tonight. But I have to really like gird my loins if I want to get to 1,500. So maybe I should just aim for a moderate 1,000 words. Also, I'm getting hungry, so I might like heat up something really quickly too. But yeah, let me mull this over some food, and then I will be right back for the next writing sprint or brainstorming sprint, whatever it's gonna be. Hello, it is currently 11:45. I just finished up my writing sprint. In total for tonight, I have written 1,580 words. I honestly didn't think I would write that much, but I was like, oh, wow, that was really into the scene. I'm still working on this random flashback scene where I'm not too sure where I'm going to place it or like how it's going to relate to something that's in the current timeline. But I think it's also just good to understand the main characters a bit more and like fill in the blanks of like how we got to where we are. I did write a little bit past the sprint because I was like, I'm just in the zone. We're gonna keep writing. We're gonna keep doing things. So that was really great. I have officially passed the halfway mark for 50,000 words. According to Scrivener, I have written 26,249 words for the month of December. It's not bad, so I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back over here. I think I want to do one more writing sprint, even if it's gonna cross over past midnight, just because I want to play around and explore what's happening in this flashback scene. Like, honestly, I feel like there's still not much that I really know and understand about these characters, which is just like another reason why it's taken me so long to finish a first draft of this project. Whereas in my other project, I felt like I knew them instantly. I knew what the story was. I knew what their goals were. Like, those characters in that other project were pretty straightforward. These ones, they're a little complex and a little messy. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a writing break, and then I'm gonna go back into this flashback scene, probably jump around a bit too, just to see how I'm feeling, and I'll catch y'all afterwards. Hello, it is currently 12:32 a.m. I technically stopped my writing sprint a while ago, but I'm only doing this recap right now because my camera is slowly dying and I realized I did not charge it throughout the day. So we're here. But I did a pretty good job in this last writing sprint. For the entire night, I have written 2,037 words. So yes, we did make it to 2,000 words. Woo-hoo! I was just having a lot of fun with this flashback scene, even if I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it or not. But hey, it's really good for character development and just for me, like, understanding who these people are. I have like a little bit of an idea of where I would place it in the story and just like how it would fit, but I feel like that would be a little bit later down the line. It's really just all about the pacing. I always have such a hard time with pacing, and I've gotten feedback on it from like agents, beta readers with my other projects, to just like how slow my pacing can be. So we'll try to find a balance between like slow and steady wins the race and like being all up in each other from the get-go. I keep mixing up my words, and considering considering that my camera is about to die, I think we're gonna call it a night. Technically, it says right now that my session target is 2,537 words, but I think considering the fact we're only 500 words short, like 500 to the T, I think we're fine. Especially since I'm at a point where like if I continue writing, it's mostly me just like forcing myself to write, not because I want to write or I have a good idea of what I could write. So I think it's fine if I just stop right here. I think tomorrow before I start my next writing session, I should do a little bit of brainstorming and plotting for this section, just because I always feel like I go into it unprepared and I'm like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. As long as we get a happily ever after, it's fine. But no, I don't want to struggle with this second half. I don't want to struggle with like the next 20,000 words, 25,000 words. So we're gonna have to do some plotting. Thank you so much for joining me in my writing and my yapping. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!